Hey guys!
Alright guys, we're here today to check out the latest from Carach Angren. They have a lyric video for a new song. They have a new album coming out on Season of Mist. And this is a lyric video for the song Monster. We haven't done Carach Angren on the channel. I'm going to say since we went to see Carach Angren for the first time, which was with Children of Bodom. Yeah, I
don't think so. I think we did one after that.
No. I think the last one we did is when the crows tick on the windows. Isn't that the last one we did?
Yeah.
So that was before we went to the show, wasn't it?
Really?
I think it was before we went to the show. So that's 2017.
Shit.
We're in 2020, and let's not go into that because this year's turning out to be an absolute shit show. Fuck, what a year, man. What a year. Anyways. So yeah, since 2017, I don't think we've done a video from Carach Angren on the channel. 3 years. There's been a 3 years hiatus. Well, it's going to change because after this video, leading up to the album release, I'm sure they're going to release
other videos.
This is a lyric video, so I'm sure they're going to release actual music video and stuff. So we're gonna get our fill of Carach Angren over the last not the last, but the next couple of weeks, months, unless we all die. All right. On that positive note, let's do this. Well, I mean, I'm really bummed out because, by the way, Nemtar left the band. He still worked on this album, so he's still part of this album, but he left the band. He announced that he left the band. He was supposed to be coming to spend some quality time.
It's a bummer.
With the two of us.
We were going to do a video with him.
We were going to do multiple videos with him. I was going to do an interview. He was going to do some reaction videos with us. He was going to crash at our house for a couple of days.
For March break.
Yeah. Then this whole Corona thing started. There's been some quarantining, and then the Trump administration put that ban on European flying into the U.S. So that goes the trip because originally he was going to go to the U.S. first, and then he was going to come to Canada. So that put a little bit of a damper on everything, plus the quarantining and whatever. I mean, it's just what a shit show. But anyways, let's watch this Carach Angren Monster. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Enough to be monstered by your look. Disfigured, maimed, malformed, or crooked. Those wicked, wretched, and mangled from within. Yeah, they deserve the title for their filthy, rotten sins. Monster.
All right, I want to get your opinion on this one. What did you think of this?
That was different.
Definitely, now not necessarily what I was expecting, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But why you're saying it's I agree with you, it's different. But what makes you say that?
I mean, I haven't listened to. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't listened to Carach Angren
In a while.
You know, the only actual song that is on my phone, because a lot of my songs keep getting deleted, and the one that stayed is Francis Coughlin. And I'm comparing this to that one, and that one was a lot more symphonic black metal. This one was way more
almost
industrial black metal, which like the black metal only comes from the vocals a bit. So it's kind of like it's pretty different, but not in a bad way, because actually it's pretty good, but it kind of threw me off a bit.
It almost had a little bit of reminiscence from Clemens, the keyboard player, the solo project that he did, the EP that he released. Remember, we did a couple of songs from that. It was more industrial sounding. So it kind of had a little bit of it's almost like a little bit of that, a little bit darker, but it kind of felt almost like it just came more out of that camp than necessarily something that I was expecting from Carach Angren.
Yeah.
So it caught me a little bit off guard. I enjoyed it, but definitely a little bit more industrial, not as symphonic, heavy. Without a doubt, is heavy, but definitely not as symphonic as I was hoping. And to be honest with you, I was hoping a little bit more of a storytelling aspect to it, and that wasn't as present as well.
No, it was more of just
just more of a regular song.
Just more of a regular song.
Yeah. So to me, there's
talking about a monster.
Yeah. So maybe when you look at the album, I think this is one of those songs that it plays a role. It plays an important role within the album structure, within the story of the album. So maybe when you're looking at the album,
maybe this is like around the middle of the album.
It doesn't matter if it's in the middle or where it is, but in terms of the story that's being told,
it's somewhere
somewhere in there that makes sense to that story. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm thinking that if you're listening to the album, this song will make a lot more sense because it will be part of the overall story of the album. So as you're listening to it and you get to this, the fact that the sound is the fact that the sound is kind of industrial, or it's almost like mechanical perhaps is even a better word to describe it. Maybe it plays on the whole monster and the whole theme of the album being more mechanical, having more of a mechanical approach, specifically this song. I'm not saying the whole album is going to sound like this. I have the album already. I haven't heard it yet because I wanted to do this video with you first, and the album is not coming out for a while now, so there's no point on me listening to the album so far in advance. But I think when I listen to this song in the context of the album, the story of the album, the way the sound of this song is, that more mechanical approach to the song, because it almost feels, as I'm listening to the song, it almost feels like they're building a robot or a monster, if you will. So it has that mechanical, that stiffness to it. It's not 100% fluid. It doesn't have a nice fluidity to it, like some other Carach Angren songs where there's a story being told and there's this nice little fluidity, and the music kind of helps tell the story that they're telling you. And this one, I feel the music helps tell the story, but because the story is very centered around that creation of that monster, it becomes almost more robotic, and it's not as fluid. And maybe that played a role in terms of the sound that they decided to use on this specific song.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I haven't heard the whole album, so I'm just assuming based on the little that I know. So when you think about that, I think listening to this song as part of a full record, when you're getting it'll make more sense. Why does it sound the way it does? Why does it feel the way it does? Because then you're looking at the bigger picture. You're not just looking at one single snapshot of the record. So I think this song is one of those that you really need the full picture in order to really understand, why does the song sound like this? Why does it have this approach? It definitely doesn't have the approach that I thought it would have, like the more symphonic, melodic approach. One of
those more symphonic black metal.
Yeah, me too. Symphonic, melodic black metal songs. So me too. But as you take a step back, like I said, it reminds me more of Clemens' solo project, Parasite Twin, that he released last year. It kind of had more of this kind of a vibe. This song kind of, if this song was in that project, it would fit perfectly in there because it was kind of like this. It had a lot of this same feel to it, the same structure, the same sound, the same approach. So it feels more coming from that camp. But like I said, maybe when you look at the album and you look at the overall record and how it makes more sense. And then even when you look at the song, you're talking about a monster. You're talking about creating a monster and what that monster is. It makes sense that the song is very robotic. The way it comes, it almost goes in chunks. It's like almost the song is made in chunks. So it makes sense because it almost gives you the sense of a body, that the monster that's being created like by somebody, that it's coming to life and it's moving in a very robotic kind of way. So the song has that same kind of sound and feel, and that's why I said it had more of like that robotic industrial sound to it. So when you start thinking from that perspective, it makes sense on why it sounds like that. And I can see it, but it still surprised me because I was expecting something a little bit more melodic, more kind of like over the top, a little bit different. Not to say that I didn't like it, it just surprised me. I was not expecting that. And considering it's the first single, once again, it kind of surprised me that they went with this song as the first single.
I thought they would go with it. If the album is how you're saying it, which...
I don't know, I'm assuming.
I know.
I haven't heard it yet. I haven't heard it yet.
I thought they would put out a song, like their first song kind of being like their old stuff to kind of settle you in and then hit you with this.
Me personally, I like that approach that you're saying. I like when a band releases... an album.
It kind of softens you into it.
Exactly. I like the first single to be something that people are more that is easier to digest. So that way it softens in a little bit, and then once you're in, even during the song structure, I'll give you an example with Ginger. Macro. The album goes in very different directions. The sound, as you progress through the record, the sound changes and the approaches change. They become a little bit less traditional Ginger and they go into a more experimental Ginger. But the first couple of songs on the album are really traditional Ginger songs, and that was they did that on purpose to hook you in.
It hooks you in, and then they start changing their stuff.
And then you don't even notice because you're already in and you don't even notice. And I talked to Eugene about it, and he said to me that's exactly why they did it that way, which is exactly what I thought the reason why they did when I did the review. And then he confirmed that to me. So I'm a little surprised that they went with this specific song as a single. But I think it's also going to be one of those that the next single is going to be more in line in terms of what we're perhaps expecting. And then we're like, all right, now we're here.
Yeah.
Because once again, maybe this is probably a song that when you're looking at the whole album, at the story of the album, it makes sense on why it sounds the way it does and why it is the way it is. I still enjoyed it. I still like Carach Angren, and I still enjoy this song. And to be honest with you, I've seen them live twice now. You've seen them once. I've seen them twice. One of the best live bands that I've seen. They put on such an incredible show. Like, just such an incredible show. All of them great musicians. I don't know who they're going to replace on drums. Nemtar is a hard guy to replace.
Yeah.
Incredible drummer. So, hard guy to replace. I don't know who they're going to put on drums.
I have his broken stick.
You do. And I don't know how they're going to replace him because it's hard to do. They have time to think about it now because there's no tours happening for the foreseeable future. For a long time now. So, they have time to think about that. I'm excited about the album. This song kind of has me, it piqued my interest because now I'm like, what's going to be the next song like?
Yeah.
What's going to be the album like? Like I said, I have the album. I didn't want to hear it before we did the video, but perhaps now in the next couple of days, couple of weeks, I'm going to listen to the album to get an idea and then pre-record a review for it. All right, this is it for today. By the way, I want to know from you guys, because Carach Angren, when we started the channel, they were one of those bands that a lot of people asked us to check out their videos. A lot.
And then it died down.
And then people, because they didn't release any new material, so people then kind of stopped asking us to check out any of their songs. Having said that, like I said, I've been to 2 of their live shows. I know the guys in the band. I did a EP review for Clemens when he released Parasite Twin. So we covered, and we did 2 songs from that EP release on the channel. So we've covered other things related to Carach Angren, if you will. Not necessarily Carach Angren, but related to Carach Angren. But I want to hear from you guys at home that many of you asked us to check out Carach Angren when we first got into when we first started the channel. I want to hear from you guys. What's your thoughts on this single? Was this what you were expecting? Was this not what you were expecting?
Are you happy with this?
Yeah. What are your views on the album? Like, how do you feel like this song is going to play within the record? I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Because then we can have an exchange. We can have a conversation, so it's not just the 2 of us talking. All right. So let us know in the comment section. I'll be looking forward to reading and seeing what you guys have to say. It's always interesting. I love reading the comments because there's lulls, and then there's always,
that one guy.
There's always that one guy that goes offside, and then there's always those conversations that are really interesting because you start talking about music. And for a lot of people, I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but for a lot of people, they don't live in areas where there's a lot of metalheads. So our channel has kind of become a way for them to like exchange.
Like metal Reddit.
Yeah, exactly. It's given people an opportunity to talk about metal, to talk about their tastes and what they think of songs. I really like it. I read every single comment on the videos. I don't reply to every single comment, but we read every single comment.
You only reply to the one guy.
No, I reply to a lot of people actually. I make a point of replying to a lot of people because I want to have that conversation because it's interesting to see what other people are thinking, you know. And sometimes I'm not the kind of guy that I'm set in my ways. If you put a good point forward, I'm more than happy to concede defeat and go with what the person is saying. And that's why it's important. It's important to have those discussions, and it's important to have an avenue for people who don't have other people around them to talk about metal using our channel in our comment section to do that. So we're asking you, what do you think about this? Let us know, and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow.
See ya.